Good afternoon, YouTube. I've been doing some work on the old 5-ton Mack here, and I'm going to take you through some of the upgrades and stuff that we've done to it so far. A couple of things that I plan on doing this weekend. I'm sorry I haven't really been filming a lot of the stuff that I've been doing. I've just been trying to get stuff done. Been on a bit of a time crunch because I want to get this old girl ready for 4th of July. Went through a couple of car shows, did a couple of things with it so far. Everything's for the most part holding up on it. I still think there's something damaged in the transfer case, but I haven't quite had a chance to really look into it. All in all, the truck for the most part's been behaving. So that's something. Now I'm also going to touch on a couple of other things on this video. I really kind of hate to start this video with a bit of a rant, but I've been dealing a lot with a company by the name of TMG, which is also known by those military guys. Now they're based out of California, and they do a lot of custom bits and stuff for these trucks, like that license plate bracket down there, and a couple of other things I'll be showing you guys in a little bit. But I had a recent purchase from them that I'm really not happy about. There was a lot of issues with it, and there's a bit of a story behind it, and I'll kind of get into it, but basically I bought a light bar for this, kind of similar to the IBS Tech, not the Icon, which is the one I should have bought, because that comes with, the searchlights and all that other stuff, but of course that's for an MRAP, which is a little bit different than the 5-ton here. The windshield, the way the angles are on the mounting brackets and stuff like that. This was meant to be more of a bolt-on setup for this old girl here, and just to have something kind of different. A lot of people go with the MRAP kit. You don't really see a lot of IBIS Tech. I'm pretty sure I'm probably not pronouncing that right, but whatever. Go ahead and correct me in the comments. Disclaimer, I've never owned a truck like this before. This is actually another disclaimer. This is my first diesel. I've always wanted a diesel truck, but it wasn't really planned to kind of go off the deep end here. But anyways, what happened with this thing? Sorry, I'm kind of freehanding this because I can't find my tripod stand. Don't know where that is. But anyways, basically what happened here, you know what? This is perfect. I'll just set you guys right on the bed of the 5-ton here. So basically what happened is, like I said, I bought a light bar for this guy, and took a while to get it because they had to prep it and do whatever they had to do. Apparently it was tested before it left. Upon receiving the bar, they've shipped the first one bit out. They didn't ship any brackets, no mounting hardware, and it was missing a couple of parts and pieces, some screws in the framework and stuff from where they took it apart to paint it, apparently. They were pretty quick about getting the stuff that was missing back out to me, so I do appreciate that. But upon installing this light bar, we ran into several issues. One of which was the brackets they sent were bent incorrectly. I had to reform them, i.e., hit them with a hammer and kind of bend them and this and that to make them fit, make them work. They claimed that I installed the brackets improperly. However, when I looked on their website, it clearly showed the way that I have them installed, and I'll show you guys that in a minute, the way that the brackets are installed on the truck. On top of that, when I finally got everything put together and I went to wire the bar together, or, put the wiring into it, none of the lights worked pretty much. I just had the 2 corner lights, and that was the only thing that worked on the bar. So I thought, hey, maybe there's just, a connection came loose in shipping or something like that. Okay, stuff happens, I get it. So I pulled one of the access panels off of the front and start probing wires and looking through, and I've realized that I've got power, I've got ground, everything seems to be connected. Upon closer inspection, 4 out of 6 of the lights, the bulbs themselves, were blown. And now I'm not talking like the filaments broke, like it happened in shipping. No, this is like it was blown and it was shipped this way, even though they claimed that they tested it. Now, I'm not trying to really bash these guys, because their knowledge on these trucks is still something to be a credit to them. You know, I've called with various issues, one of which my air brakes were pulsating. Like, it would pulse this caliper, pulse this caliper, pulse this brake, you know, it would move around and kind of move the truck. Well, come to find out, the brake system, the ventilation for the brake system is out of the front right glad hand. Not kidding. There's a little cap there, and it happened to be plugged up, and they were able to point me in the right direction for that. So that's something that I never would have thought to look for. However, you know, like I said, their knowledge on these trucks, spot on. As far as if you have any questions or anything of how assemblies are put together, how things come apart, if you're having an issue with your truck, if you can get a hold of them, I've called several times, and sometimes I get right through to somebody. Sometimes it just rings and rings and rings and goes to a mailbox that's full. Now I'm going to bring up Boyce Equipment and Memphis Equipment. Both times that I've, you know, called Boyce Equipment, or if I've called Memphis, I've always gotten right through to somebody. Right through. Within the first, you know, not even 2 minutes, I'm talking to somebody. To me, that's really helpful, because, you know, I've got a full-time job and stuff like this, and I'm trying to get more into the YouTube and do more stuff with this truck. But, you know, time is money, and I shouldn't have to continuously call a business to get a hold of them. So anyways, I guess I'm going to kind of stop ranting, and I'm just going to show you guys this bar, and I'm gonna go ahead and throw it out there. I paid $700 for this bar. You guys are going to fall on the floor when I show you how it was built. So I'm going to go ahead and pick the phone up, and we're going to walk this way, off to this way, and I'm going to show you guys this bar. You know, I really kind of hate starting my video out with a bit of negativity, but it is what it is, and I think you guys need to know about it if you're going to do business with them. So here's the bar. Every single one of the lights looks like that. Now tell me that happened in shipping. I don't think so. That's clearly discolored and burnt. Looking at the wiring, this jacket, clearly discolored and burnt. That light's burnt, that light's burnt, that light's burnt, that light's burnt. This light and this light were the only ones that work. Now another thing, you notice these pads I've stuck on here, because when this folds in, it hits the lights and makes a nice little mark on them. They also failed to send me the pin that goes in here, and so they sent me this tiny little pin, which I don't know where it is at the moment, but it doesn't actually even go all the way through the bar, and it's basically useless. Something they picked up at Home Depot, or not even, like Ace Hardware. Another complaint that I have. Look at the way this is wired. Like, this is all electrical tape, and let me show you what's under this electrical tape. Look at this. Like 99-cent butt connectors, not even waterproofed, not weatherproofed, nothing. They're all done this way and kind of half-ass crimped and whatnot. I mean, look at the crimp on that. For $700, I would expect, you know, heat shrink. Look, that's just a bare wire just sitting there. Like, I would expect heat shrink on this stuff. Weatherproof connections, because the top of this bar has holes in it. Okay, this is the side that goes up. So it's going to rain into this bar whenever it rains and gets wet. This bar's going to get wet. And I'm sorry, but electrical tape is not waterproof. These lights are going to short. That's what's going to happen. Now, another thing I had to do is I had to go through and I had to re-crimp every single one of these. This one had actually ended up stripping out because it was crimped improperly. I mean, for $700, dude, I expect quality. I have no problem. Let me make one thing very clear. I have no problem spending money for quality. But the quality better be there. Now I'm going to walk you guys over here and I'm going to show you the mounts. So this is how it's mounted to the cab. You know, you put through and you got threaded inserts that go inside of here, and then this bolts to the cab. Now the way these were bent, they were way too far out. There was probably that much space on both sides that had to be made up to make the bar fit. There's no other way to put that on there. That is the way to put that on there, because if you were to flip it around, it would hit the hard top. Not to mention the bar is actually longer than the roof. So, yeah. Okay, so you get what I'm saying. I'm done with the rant. I've sent them pictures and whatnot. I called them. I gave them a chance to kind of straighten this thing out. I even was just about to just ship this thing back to them, but they said that, oh, we can't take it back because you bent the brackets. You mean the brackets that were improperly bent by you, that were sent to me, that were not right? And didn't know that they weren't right until I'd already drilled holes in them and mounted them to the cab and did all of this work? So, I mean, even if I were to send the bar back to you, I've now got 6 holes in my cab from something that you sold me that doesn't work. Doesn't really work for me. Like I said, this has been 3-4 days ago now that I sent these emails to them. Sent them pictures and, descriptions of what was going on. I haven't heard anything back. Not a single peep. So I'm sure by the time I've posted this video, if they do reach out to me in the meantime, I will, in my following video, I will mention that. However, okay, that's, that's my rant. I'm sorry, but if I'm going to do business with a company, I expect them to stand behind their products, and I'm going to pay money, I expect there to be quality. So, there's nothing stopping me from going on Amazon and buying a cheap light bar for $200 and done the same thing, just wouldn't look as cool. But come on, guys. So from here on out, I think I'll just do business exclusively with Boyce Equipment and Memphis Equipment. And I haven't had a chance to do anything with Mike's Motor Pool yet, but I've heard very good things from them as well. But I have called and I have dealt with Boyce, and every single time I've dealt with Boyce Equipment, spectacular. If you guys are looking for a truck to sponsor, call me. Anyways, that's just a joke, but I would not mind I would not mind throwing a Boyce sticker on this truck. Just to kind of, I like to rep companies that stand behind their products, that are good to their customers, and who are good companies. Not a problem repping those people. But anyways, we're going to go ahead and we're going to continue on with the video of this truck. I'm going to show you a couple of the upgrades and stuff that I've done now that my rant's out of the way. So we're going to flip you guys back around here and we're going to go through it. First thing, we'll start with down here. Went ahead and replaced the air lines for the brakes on both sides. The original hoses were very cracked and dry rotted. I actually had to have these made by Napa. I ended up ordering these by accident and thought they were these, but they weren't. So I had these made by Napa and went ahead and I think it was like 50, 60 bucks. Not a bad little upgrade there. Next one, went ahead and got rid of the old canister filter here and went with a twin spin-on style. Makes things a little bit easier service. I think I got this from 6x6 Parts. I actually can't remember who I got this from. But if you search spin-on filter kit for NHC 250, which is what this engine is, that should come up. I think it was just a little over $300 because I bought this kit here, and then there's a twin fuel line kit that instead of just the fuel being plumbed to the front of the injector rail and having to travel back, it has another line that goes to the back of the engine and feeds the injector rail from both sides, therefore increasing fuel pressure and throttle response. Makes it run a little bit better. But I haven't installed that yet. But I think for this it's just like $260 or $270 for this, and it comes with all the lines and stuff that you need. Wow, I need to tighten that. It's a good thing I was looking at that. Anyways, but it does not come with the filters. It does come with a list of filters that you can use. So there are various amounts of filters that will fit the bill for what you want to do. And you got your water separator, fuel water separator, and then a fuel filter. Makes service a little bit easier. We're going to move to the inside of the truck. Pardon the mess. But another thing I added to this truck is an EGT gauge, exhaust gas temperatures. So that'll measure the temperature inside of the exhaust to keep me from melting my pistons. if you guys own one of these trucks, I highly, 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 highly recommend you guys get some sort of EGT monitoring device. So that way you can keep an eye on those temperatures, because those will not show up on engine temp. The temperature in here and the temperature to the engine are two totally different things. If this gets too hot, you'll melt your pistons. So, and it will not read and register on the actual engine oil temp. So get one of those. This came from TMG. Haven't had any issues with this yet. So that's something. Another thing I added was the overhead console. Sorry about the wires, they're just kind of temporary. Still trying to get some stuff figured out. I got a whole 12-volt system up there. Pardon me. But I'm going to be adding stuff into this here, so I'm not mounting to the windshield frames or anything like that, because I actually do plan on building some sort of an overhead console that's going to come out this way and go that way, and I can put switches and stuff on here and, you know, all kinds of goodies. But that's kind of everything that's going on in the cab here. I did finally find a bracket to mount a fire extinguisher in here, because it was just in a toolbox that was underneath the cab on the other side, and I kind of like to have that a little bit more ready than that, so that's what we did there. Go ahead and close that. Here's where that other line comes through, because you actually have to replace this line when you do the fuel filter upgrade, because it will not interface with the factory line, but you just leave the factory line in here, so that way you have something to tie to make sure your hoses are routed to where they'll be nice and minty. Anyways, I'm gonna come around back here. There's another thing I got from TMG. Another thing that I wish quality was a little better, because this light gets really flickery and whatnot. But you know, remote license plate bracket. Why did I stuff it down here? Because I just didn't want to put it on the back of here, and it kind of messes with the look of the vehicle. So I wanted to stick it somewhere that was kind of discreet, but you can still see it. Moving right along, ended up having to change out a torque rod down here. As you can see, the bushing inside of here was completely shot, and rather than trying to deal with, because these are pressed in, so you'd have to press the old bushing out and then press a new one into there. I figured the bushing on the other end of this rod probably took a significant beating while this bushing was demolished, so I just went ahead and replaced the whole bar. I think that bar cost me about $300, $287, $300 to have the whole bar with a new set of nuts. So always get a new set of nuts, fellas. You know, your old ones might be a little worn out. But went ahead and added a antenna base, because there was holes for one in the fender from the original truck, and this is from original, but this is not original to this truck. This is a VRC, variable frequency antenna base, and of course you got the long extended antenna with a tie down kit. Went ahead and painted that black to kind of match the fender and whatnot, and I think that's pretty much it as far as upgrades go. For now, this weekend I'll be getting into, because I've got a leaky seal right here. So the back of this wheel, this axle seal, the inner seal is shot, and I believe this boot is messed up as well, because it's letting gear oil kind of just go where it wants. So we'll be fixing that this weekend. Set a shot of the new brake lines on this side. So I'll be fixing that this weekend, be taking this tire off and getting inside of here, checking the bearings, repacking everything with grease, and just replacing all the seals on this side, as well as the axle boot that goes back in here. When I bought the truck, it came with another pair of zipper boots, so I'm just going to go ahead and throw another zipper boot in here. I'm not actually going to take the knuckle off to do that, so if I run through those two zipper boots, then I'll look at getting some heavy duty like silicone, then you'll actually take the entire boot off and replace it. The only drawback to that is you'll have to take the entire knuckle off every time your boot gets poking a hole in it or whatever. So we'll be fixing that this weekend, as well as on the other side, on the back side here. Not this wheel. That wheel has a seal that's been leaking, as you can see. So I reckon there'll probably be an inner axle seal that's leaking in there as well. So we'll be replacing that hopefully this weekend too. I plan on making a video on the rear, because not very many people have. I've seen a couple of brake services and stuff like that, but I haven't actually seen one where someone replaces the seal in this back wheel. So I will try to make a video on that, just to kind of give you guys an idea. I've seen people do the front seals and the boots and whatnot, so there's a couple of videos out about that if you're curious exactly how that gets done. But I'm going to try to make a video for this rear one here. So I've never done this before. Never done any of this stuff before, so you're just going to have to kind of bear with me, and I'll try to take you all along on the journey of working with this stuff. I'll tell you, my toolbox was not ready for this. Everything on here is big and heavy, and all my tools are not big and heavy. Like, for instance, let me show you something. I'll walk over here. I'm going to show you the axle, the socket that's for the axle nut. This is for the inner axle nut. Look at this thing. Sucker's huge. That is a 4 3/8 inch socket. A 4 3/8 socket for an axle nut. That's insane. Sorry about the mess. Been busy working and whatnot between stuff. Don't mind the beers and the brewskis. They tend to help the aggravation with stuff like this. But there you go. There's a tie down kit. A couple of guys on a local forum were pretty good about letting me know how to do something like that, because I was kind of worried exactly how you tie this thing, because this antenna is really tall. This thing's like 12 foot tall. The truck's already 12 foot tall, and then you put a 12 foot tall antenna on top of that. That thing's like to the moon. But I mean, that's pretty much all that I've done with the truck. Not a whole lot of upgrades. Not a whole lot. Just little things here and there until I can get it to where, I got most of my comfortable stuff and whatnot going for this truck. And then we'll want to get all the maintenance stuff out of the way before we actually start building the camper in the back. And there will be a build series on that. I'm still working on getting a official channel logo put together for Twisted Piston Garage, but still working on that. And then of course, once we get that sorted out, I'll get a merch line going. And I'll tell you, if I can get up to, let's say, 1,000 followers on YouTube, I might do a giveaway, because I plan on making hats, lanyards, t-shirts, stickers. I might do a little bit of giveaway. I might, one of you lucky subscribers or followers or whatever, I might run one on my, once I get to 50,000 on TikTok, and then once I get to 1,000 on YouTube, I might do a giveaway on both platforms. But, little by little, we'll get her sorted out. But anyways, that's going to conclude today's video. I'm just going to kind of get to work swapping over some LEDs and stuff into that bar, because everything in there was halogen. That was another thing that I was concerned with, is because I kind of thought that I was buying an HID bar, and that was not the case. There's just a lot of things that just really kind of put a sour taste in my mouth with TMG, which sucks, because they're like one of the only people that kind of make bolt-on, aftermarket accessories for these things. But I guess that just means that I'll have to fire up my old, my old fabricator man, my metal seamstress, metal magician. Maybe we'll go with that. Which is Cody Parker with Tactical Welding. If you guys are living in and around Plant City, you guys need some welding done, look up Tactical Welding. He's a dude that helped me build a couple of pieces on the old blue truck, which a lot of people are asking why is not in my driveway right now. That's because it's at his house, because I had to switch the garage out with this big girl here. Can't drive two vehicles at the same time. But yeah, that's gonna wrap this video up. As always, like, comment, share, subscribe. Every little bit helps this channel. If you guys are looking, maybe I'll start a Patreon and make more content there, or put my Cash App up or something. You know, if you guys are willing to donate to the channel to just kind of help the old girl kind of get a kickstart going, definitely be appreciated. But it's gonna be Twisted Piston signing out for now until probably until this weekend. Like I said, I'm gonna try to make a video on doing the rear axle seals and whatnot, and what someone might expect when they go in there to work on these trucks, because there's not a lot of videos out there about them. There's a lot of videos about people selling them, but there's really not a lot of videos of outside of I think it's Tactical Repair. He's got a lot of stuff, and he's very informative with what he does with these trucks. But a lot of his are of the Deuce and a Half, which a lot of people have the Deuce and a Halves on their pages, but you don't really see a whole lot of people working on 5 tons. I plan to be those people. So anyways, like I said, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit the little bell icon so you know when I post stuff, so that way you can keep up to date with everything we're doing with this whole girl right here. But anyways, like I said, Twisted Piston,